So welcome
This
to
meeting is being recorded.
Oops. Okay, so welcome to part 2 of the Atletico Madrid defense. So let's start off by going over. We are up to, this is the last slide we did last week, and it was the cutting off. It's very similar to what we call like a lead sweep when this guy has the ball. At that moment, we are now in leads. So what you learned in the fall and what all the other tacticals are about, go back and review them or watch them for the first time. Whenever we sweep, meaning we cut off the center backs, we are running leads at that point because there's no reason, once we cut this off, we need to step to the fullback to take away the easy pass, or else it's too easy. Why are we sweeping, right? So all that work we did in the fall is going to be used when we cut the field in half and direct play to one side. We're going to press. And now we're not going to let the fullback play forward. We're going to press them like we did with leads. But if we don't do that, we're just going to, when we don't sweep like this, we're just going to run Atletico, and you're going to find out how that works. It's going to be a little bit more laid back, sitting back, waiting for a mistake. Okay. So you can, and all these slides are online for you guys. Everything's on here. You can review all this work, everything. Okay. So next slide is, we're dealing with the midfield now. We were dealing with the 9, 10, 6, 8. And at practice, those of you who've been at practice, you know, we worked on that, right? The 9, 10, 6, 8 defense, particularly the 9, 10 defense. And we're going to continue to work on that to bring it to life, not just in the tacticals, but to actually practice it. So now, if you'll notice, these are their 4 midfielders. Keep in mind that Atletico Madrid in 2018, this is their tactics from 2018. Their numbers are a little weird. So their 6 is their outside mid, the number 6. Okay. These are their center defensive mids. They're 6 and 8. Okay. And this is a normal number, right? The only normal number on here. Well, the 8's a normal number, and this is the outside mid. So these are the 4 midfielders. They play a 4-4-2. Okay. So this is the back 4 of the opposing team, right? Back 4 of the opposing team. All right. And what's happening right now? Who could tell me what's happening with our 9 and 10? What would they be doing right now? What would the functional 9 be doing right now? Anybody guess? Because they're not on the
What do you press?
He'll be pressing. And what direction? What direction would he take to press?
Diagonally.
Correct. Leads, he would be here, cutting off the 5. And even if there's 2 center backs, if one of our guys sees an opportunity to press, see something in the other team like a weakness, and he does this, what defense do we go into? We go into leads. Okay?
Leads, yeah.
We go into leads, and if it doesn't work, we immediately retract back into Atletico. That's going to be a theme here. We can temporarily go into leads and then get out. That's our pressing system. Okay? So he would be coming in here, the functional 9. Functional 9 would be here, right? And those who were in practice know the question was always asked, well, if the 9 is here, the functional 9, functional 10 is here, right? The question of practice was asked, if the functional 9 is here, he's giving this up. Yeah, the functional 9's giving that up, but who's covering it? What positions are covering for him? If anybody decided to step into there.
Would it be the 10? Would it be the 10?
Nope, the 10's over here. I could show you on the tactical board. So Nas is pressing. Okay. The functional 10 is here. And each one of these is going to be 10. We'll say it's 10 yards. So this is about, we want to always be 12 yards apart. Okay. So each one of these lines is like 12 yards, 10 yards, we'll say. So Anis, so if their 10 drops in, okay, and Nas is not preventing this straight ball, but we're not doing man-to-man marking, But you will see a little bit of man-to-man in a second. If the 10 is here, can Nas and Anis prevent a ball to the 10? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you should be able to control that, right? As the ball is played, okay, you should be able to close this guy down, right? Probably steal it. Now let's go back to their photo, right? So you see, if the 10 was sitting here, could their outside mid and center mid handle that? Yes or no?
Can their outside mid handle that?
Our outside mid, our red, we're red. The 10 is where my cursor is, the little thing. Could we handle?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
we
handle
should
that.
be.
Yeah.
We should be far enough away. If we were closer, let me show you this. If we were like this, they're still the same distance apart this way, right? And they'll say, well, okay. But could they handle it now, maybe? Yes or no? Or maybe?
No, a bit harder.
Maybe.
They're too high up.
Yeah.
That's another theme you're going to hear. Let's be back, right? Let's not get, you hear, those who've been in practice, you hear me like, yo, where are you going? Why are you going? Why are you pressing up high? Easy. We'll do that on leads. We're going to be more aggressive. But here, it's like, where are you going? You're just
Before you go further,
making it easy for them to break your line. In the Atletico, the Spanish, it's always clunky to translations. So they call it a safety distance. A safe distance away is the best way I would say it. So this is not a safe distance away, right?
Before the halfway line.
Look at your midfield line. This is terrible.
Before
right?
the halfway line would be a safe distance, correct? Right there, yeah.
Okay. Well, here's your 10. You need to be behind your 10. If he's in the hole, if he's breaking your midfield and back line, you guys need to be back. You're not man marking him. You're close enough to each other that you can not get split. You know, when we do rondos, we're always worried about what? Don't be so far apart that you can get split. Don't be so high up that you can get split. All this stuff that we work on in practice is applicable to the tactical board. Okay? So now I have a question. So real quick, even though they're not going to show this, here's the part they're not showing you yet, which we worked on in the previous one. In the previous tactical Atletico part 1, which is on the playlist, if the 10 drops in, what has to happen? Who needs to control him?
The six got to get to him.
Correct. Now it's almost very similar to, for this particular player, he's in a man-to-man situation. So it's a bit of a man zone. Nobody plays, even Leeds doesn't play pure man, right? They have a free man that plays a zone. They have a 9 who covers 2 guys by sweeping. Leeds doesn't play a zone, either, a pure man-to-man either. They play a man zone. It's just a matter of how much of one or the other you play and what situations you play them in. So yeah, if nobody steps up and you just stay here, right? Problem. He can turn and play forward, right? So what has to happen is the 6 has to step up and control him. So that if a ball is played, he doesn't let him turn. Now, Nas, what do you guys do? Remember the drill we worked on at Sion? We call this applying double marking. The 9 and 10 were breached.
Wait, I got an example. You know how you, if the 6 don't get to the 10 in time, how you anticipated the pass to the 9? You know, the 4 should anticipate that lane. Like that pass is coming to the 9. Like it's impossible.
No, we're not working on that right now, though. So I'm asking a specific question right now. So let's focus on that, because that's for another day. So, and that's not really right, because let's just focus on this right now. What do we call applying double marking? So Nice is going to stop him from turning right now. He's not going to overcommit. He's not going to try to go for the steal. What happens when you go for the steal against a really sneaky 10? Well, let's pretend it was Nas as the 10 on
Yeah,
your
you
team.
get turned.
He's just
Yeah, you
gonna
get
he's
spun.
just gonna spin around you, right?
Yeah.
So you just want to hold him and contain him until what happens? Nas, what are you gonna do?
We need double marking, right?
He's gonna double mark him. Exactly. He's going to double mark him. Okay. The 10 can also do a little bit of a lead. What we learned at leads, take a cover shadow from the 6. Triple mark. Okay. Nas here can just, this other Nas can even do this. If he notices that the only other option now is the 3, he could actually take that away and really screw with him, right? Or, you know, the ball gets played and then he presses and then the ball gets played here. And then, well, Nice would have to drop here. Then Nice contains, we learned this later, and then he double marks, all right? But I would like Nas at that point. I want Nas to treat this like leads. The other Nas, 7 Nas, should, we double mark from this way, and you should basically cut this guy off. We win the ball. Ball gets played in the middle, and now we press and we win it, okay? And we're going to work on that at practice to perfect that. And you guys did a hell of a job at it this week. Like, it was really good. It was very good. Okay. Let's move everybody back. Does that make a little sense? That the main part of this, the double marking, we worked on it. If you don't know about double marking, watch the other tactical guys. But we're mostly working on this one right now, which is Nas is pressing, the 9 Nas. And this ball right here is not a pass they can make. Now, I ask you a question. If Nas treated this like leads right now and came up more here, is that a problem?
Yeah, it makes the pass easier.
Makes the pass easier. Now, if we were playing leads, a Nice would be where? And it wouldn't be a problem. See it?
Yeah.
Okay? But so you can't we can't have half of us playing leads and half of us playing Atletico. And in the fall, half of us sometimes we were playing leads. 80% of us were playing leads, and a couple of us, I don't know what the fuck they were playing. They weren't playing any system, and that's a problem, right? But you can see that it's even a problem if you're playing a real defense. Like, one's playing an Atletico style, one's playing a lead style. It's still a problem. You can't like, each one has merits, but you can't just like pick and choose element. The elements have to fit. So Nas playing doing a press and a Nice staying in his zone doesn't work. But Nas pressing and a Nice pressing, that does work in this instance. All right. So it has to all fit together. And this defense was run by Atletico, and it fits together. It's been well thought out. So we're studying it. Okay. So I hope that made sense. Good. So I think this part is pretty clear, right? Everybody's basically taking away. And this is something we talked about in practice. Are we absolutely taking away the pass, or are we making it very difficult to split us?
Making it difficult to split.
Exactly. We're tempting them because even if they get it, so if they try to thread the needle, this is very important. If they try to thread the needle and they make a real hard pass, it's perfectly aligned, and they split us. What can we do?
Yeah, we're on top of them.
Yep. At that point, Nice, right, can prevent the turn. This Nice can cover here. This Nice can drop in. Yeah. And we can double mark. Even if they split us. But the good news is that's very difficult. Not many players, okay, can pull that off. So if they do pull it off, we have a contingency plan. If they try it and they fuck it up, watch this. I think you know where this is going. Nas 7 steals it, right? And plays the Nas 9. See it? Or even, even better, there's another option. And he starts to slide over, right? Because they're on this side of the pitch, right? See it? We're all shifting over. And the ball's played through. And this time he tries to go here. Then he steals it. This Nas runs, right? You see it? Okay. And then it can go boom. Boom. Look how spread out they are. Where's their fullback?
Wide.
Out wide. Okay. I guarantee you this fullback's going to be out wide too, because that's what we're going to force them to do this because of our press that goes like this. We're going to force them out. This defense. It should come as no surprise that Atletico Madrid built this defense to set up their counterattack, right? When they face teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona, who like to possess the ball. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, very good. Anise, clean me up there. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. They're just showing you what we talked about. You see it? Where they could collapse on the ball. Okay? Because they're close enough, right? All right. So that's not a problem, right? Okay. Being compact. Notice to do this. Look how far away the outside mid is. His starting point is here. Look how far away he is from their fullback. You see it? In Leeds, we would be closer because we're going to press them right away. But in Atletico, we play off and then we step to the fullback. We allow the fullback to have the ball in turn, right? And like we said, excuse me. Look at how far we are. That's okay. And we worked on this in practice. So guys, get to practice. We practiced these exact scenarios with the outside players, the inside players. It's going to be natural when you get on the pitch. You're just going to do it automatically, and you're going to work. You're going to be able to, play quicker. Okay. So this is all stuff we just covered right now. Okay. He's showing you now this gets a little dangerous now. They got too close. All right. They're showing you that if he does get close to you, you have to get even more compact. Okay. Notice he started here, and this is very subtle. Okay. Because he's further back, but as he dribbles forward, you either got to drop or you got to compact in. You see it? Does that make sense? As if this guy starts to dribble forward, somehow beats Nas 9, right? Let's say you guys were a little wider, right? At this point, if he starts to get forward, okay, he can now break your line. So you either got to drop the whole line or close. See it? That's what they're talking about. Now, can they break this? It'll be a lot harder, right? So you either got to drop and you can stay wider, or you can go higher, but you got to stay compact. Okay? And this is standard defense, for any zonal defense, right? But not everybody knows how to do it, and it takes coordination. So we're going to practice this, okay? But I need you to know what we're trying to do. It's easier to know what we're trying to do now than do this at practice, the tactical board. All right, does that make sense? What I just showed you?
Yes.
Yep.
You're trying to prevent the split, and there's two ways to prevent the split. Back up and you can back up, and that allows you to get wider. Or if you are pushed up, you got to get closer together to prevent the split. And if you've done enough 4v2s in our practice and scenarios like that, you already know this, right? Because you practiced it a bunch of times. Okay, next slide. Now they're showing an example where they are backing up and tucking in because the guy's dribbling forward. They refer to this as retraction. Okay, when your line has been breached, right, and you're at a numerical disadvantage, right now Nas 9 is chasing this guy from behind. Okay, so we need to retract. And retraction is we go back and in. Okay? Does that make sense? This is a very important concept because what do a lot of amateur players try to do and youth players in this situation? They step and get burned. What's that?
Yeah. I said they
step and get burned. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many raise your? Oh, you don't raise your hand. There's a raise hand button on there, so click it. Ready?
Yeah, there is.
How many have had guys constantly yelling at them to step from behind, and they're fucking wrong, right? Like I have guys yelling at me all the time to step, and I just fucking ignore them. Because why am I stepping when I'm about to step into a numerical disadvantage? So we need to train our players to not give out stupid advice, okay? You don't always step. There's a time to retract. We let Nas 9 recover, right? Does this guy have anywhere to go now? Where the hell is he going to go? Because we didn't step. Where the hell is he going to pass the ball? Anywhere? What the hell is he going to do?
He might pass it back, yeah.
So by that point, he's going to freeze now. Or he's going to force it. Even better for us, he's going to force it and we steal it.
Yeah.
Or he just freezes, and now what? Nas 9 is back.
Yeah.
And now Nas can step on him. Okay?
Good question.
Right? Retraction. Yes, question. Okay.
Yes. So you said there are two options, right? Either we go back and we can get a little wide, or we get forward and we get closer. What if one does one and the other does the other one?
Then we're fucked. So we have to coordinate. So this is where what we're going to yell is drop. So we're going to yell drop. Okay? Drop. You know what I mean? And then, you know, we're going to call our keywords. We'll start saying retract. We're going to practice it at practice because we can't just like say it here. It's got to be practiced. All right. So we're going to yell retract and we're all going to drop in and we're still going to get compact. Like I prefer to just get compact. You know, I prefer to take everything away and just drop and get compact, drop down and in when they're dribbling forward. If he's not dribbling forward, you can stay wider. So let me just give you an example. So if he's dribbling forward, you have to drop and get compact. If he stays back here, you don't. Nas can stay a little wider to get to the three. Does that make sense? You got to read the situation, right? If he's not dribbling forward, because you're far enough away, all right, where it's not a problem, right? And you're just waiting for this guy to recover. It's only going to be a problem for how long?
Until 9 comes back.
Until 9 comes back. And this is why, you know, professional teams, their forwards retract. Like, I mean, it's just you're not going to really find a good professional team where they don't drop back and get there. You know, sometimes the very top teams tell like guys like Messi not to always come all the way back because they don't have to play defense that often, right? So they just tell them wait there. You know, but your average Premier League team, and that's still a really good team, is going to come back. All right, and they're going to defend. All right, and they're 4-4-2 in general. Okay. So yeah, so if he's dribbling, you got to take double precautions, and eventually he's gonna close in on you. So you have to get close, right? You know, because if you stay too far apart as he's coming, he's going to get this guy the ball and he's going to turn real quick, right? So you have to retract. You have to get compact. So we'll practice it until you guys get good at it with the midfielders at how to do that, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to get burned a bunch of times, and then you know from practice, right? What happened? You get burned a few times, and then what do? You start to make adjustments. So you're close enough where if he received, even if he got it, you can apply double and triple marking. All right. So now when you do get compact enough, what they're going to show you now is you can actually step before Nas gets back. If you get compact enough, everybody see this? You can make what's called a defensive triangle, right? Where you have two guys covering, so that if he gets deked, you still have coverage, right? And now we'll call this the functional 8 because he's the one stepping. We always call out of the 6 and the 8, we call the one that stays back the 6 because it switches. We call the one that steps up the functional 8. We'll call that on offense as well. That's he's functioning as the 8 right now. He might have been the starting 6, but it doesn't really matter in this. Okay. So notice once we get compact enough, we step. If we stepped too early and we were too wide, right? And Nice was all the way over here, let's say, and let's take the 6 out of this for a second. And let's say Nas got wiped out. And let's say the 10's over here. If a knee steps here without being compact, look at Nas and the knees, the 7 and the 8. Look at that. If he steps now, what could happen? See it? But leave him here. If we were compact, meaning this guy is over, right? Everyone shifted. We're giving up the switch. If he plays the long switch, we'll shift. So now this Anise is closer. We start to get compact, right? He can even stay out more in control 7. Now, if he starts to dribble in, Anise can step out, and we're compact. And now what? See, he's got no play. Okay, even if he get all he can do we care if he goes here?
No.
If he goes here, what do? We now start to come out of our shell. We push the line. And as that ball's traveling, one more thing real quick, because I'm going to show you this. As this ball's traveling, what do?
Press?
We push the back line up.
Yeah.
As that's traveling, we push the line up. It has to start from the defense, guys. Or else, if you stay here, what's going to happen? Watch this. If they stay, and look at this gap. This, right? Way too big, right? So as the ball is traveling, everybody steps up. It leaves them offside. As soon as it's about to reach their fullback, we stop. This is very important that our back line quarterbacks this. Okay? Just don't quarterback like the Eagles player. I saw a little bit of that. That was terrible. Okay, does that make sense? You push the back line up when the ball is traveling. Because when the ball is traveling, it cannot be played forward. So those are the opportunities that we push the line up. If their back is turned, even if he gets it, but somehow it's like this, and he has to go back, what do? Push the line up. He's turned back. Can he play? If he's facing his own goal, can he play forward? No. Push the line up. This is how we get out of our zone. This is how we get out of our zone. That's how we get them out of our zone. Make sense? Now we play on their side of the pitch. Okay? And then we'll have to come back. This 5 will have to come back, etc. And we just simply, what do we do now? If we see an opportunity to sweep, we sweep. If we don't, we are now in our what? We're now in our defense. And you'll hear me yell, run the defense. There's transition to defense where we could press. We're going to press to get the ball back. And then there's defense. Once we're on regular defense, we run the defense. And our defense is Atletico Madrid. Okay? We run the defense that I'm teaching you. Okay? When we lose the ball during the transition to defense, we could try to get it back. They refer to it as counter pressing. But transition to defense, we can, while they're disorganized, we could run the Atletico press if we do it, if it's coordinated. And you're going to see if this is why at some point we're not going to be able to put guys on the pitch who have no idea what they're fucking doing, because they'll just be, no matter how good of a player they are, they're going to be lost and they're going to fuck us. Okay. So they just won't be able to get on the pitch. They'll be too costly for us right now. They'll have to sit back and learn. And with pros, that's not the case, because pros already know this stuff. A lot of the pros already know a lot of defenses and stuff. But the amateurs we're dealing with, even the ones that are very technical, they don't understand how to play defense. So you guys, what I'm saying by that is you guys are going to get to play more. The more you learn, the more you get to play for this club. Okay. So let's go back here. That should all make sense. When we get compact enough, now we can step. That's when we can step. That's when it's appropriate to tell Anise to step. Okay, once we got compact. Don't step when we're spread out, because now you're forcing the player to make a decision. If you step when we're spread out, you force the guy to make a decision, right? Well, he's going to be like, shit, thank God. You know what I mean? Because now you gave me an easy decision. I got an easy through ball because they're spread out. All right? So now when the ball goes to the fullback, we're going to study that right now, okay? So the ball goes to the fullback, all right? notice. So let's get the pieces here. This is our midfield line. So this is our outside mid or winger, but we play a 4-4-2, so they're basically outside mids. Okay, they play a lot in half space. Okay, here, center mid, 6-8, right? And this is the other outside mid, right? These are our 4 defenders, our 4 midfielders, right? These are their back line. Question, do we allow them to turn in general? Are these 4 players we allow to turn in general in this defense? Anybody?
Wait, turn as in press, or like, what do you mean by that? Could you explain it?
But turn with the ball. Do we allow their back 4 to turn with the ball?
Yes.
Yes. In Leeds, sometimes we'll try to press where they can't even turn, the fullbacks, right? But we allow the fullbacks to turn. He's turning.
Yeah, because we give him space. Yeah.
We give him space, and then we press up on him from a
Yeah.
diagonal. From a diagonal. We give up. What he's showing you is what area is blocked by Koke. Is that a straight area or a diagonal area? Is that cone going diagonal? It's a cone of block. This is his cover shadow. They're calling it block, but we know we call this a cover shadow.
Yeah.
Which way is his cover shadow facing, diagonally or straight? In relation to the pitch.
Diagonal.
Yeah.
Diagonally, because he's coming from
the point of the triangle will be facing straight towards the opposing back line, right?
Yeah.
So Koke is blocking balls to the middle. That's Atletico.
Yes.
We don't allow balls in the middle. We keep everything to the outside, which gives us an extra defender. And who's that extra defender?
The touch line.
Who?
The touch line.
Touchline, the best defender in soccer history. The touchline, never been defeated. So we let it go. Leeds was kind of non-directional defense. Atletico takes into account more so the area of the pitch we want to control the ball in. Okay, it's a little more strategic in that manner. Okay, Leeds is just out and out crack aggressive, okay. So this we're being very tactical about where we allow the ball to be played. We're all going to know where the ball is going to be played by them as we get good at this. Okay, so look at the slide. Everyone should be familiar with this slide, right? Pressure, cover. This is the balance, and this guy is dropped in as well. Okay, see this? 11 and 14 are even, and look at he's back a little further. And I'm going to tell you why. Who can tell me why he's back a little further, just in case what happens? Because we're allowing the full. I'll give you a hint. We're allowing the fullback to play the ball here forward, possibly in the air. So we'll call this the functional 6. Why would he be a little bit further back? Anybody? I'm going to have my coffee. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 second. Figure out the answer. Anybody get the answer? Anybody?
Wait, can you repeat the question one more time?
So their fullback, number 2, could theoretically play a ball in the air.
Yeah.
Right? So why is that 8, which is their functional 6, why is he a little bit further back than everyone else? Right? Why wouldn't he be in the same line?
Would he be because he's trying to come in deep to have that space, correct? Wait, so they're number 6, right?
Yeah, which he's right here, this guy. Why is he further back? This is very important.
To anticipate or to cover for the other 2? To cover for both of them? For 14 and
he's covering for someone who's not there. He's going to help the center backs.
Oh, okay.
If a ball, what's going to happen, and what happens is, if we take away all the diagonal passes inside, right? We're giving up which pass, clearly. Back to the center back. We're giving up back to the center back, and we're also giving up the pass to their wing, right? Once they get sick of doing that and their coach starts yelling at them, what do you think they're going to do? Because we're not giving up the pass on the ground in the middle. So what do you think they're going to start doing?
Pass in the air.
They're going to just start fucking. I've seen
And
it.
yeah, they're gonna start hoofing it.
They're going to start hoofing the ball into their striker. Okay? Because their coaches, I've seen every coach that faces it when we run this. The coach doesn't understand why the ball's not going to the middle anymore. He starts yelling at them to play to feet in the middle, and then the players start yelling. Atletico has a defense for that either way, which is to have the functional 6 drop in further so that he can apply double marking with the center backs. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So, and it makes sense even when we do this with the 9-10-6-8 defense. Remember the middle defense? You notice that ball side becomes the functional 8, right? We talked about that. He kind of steps forward, and far side, we call it. Ball side, out of the 6 and the 8, the ball side steps forward, and the far side steps back out of the 6 and the 8, right? Same thing with the 9 and 10, right? 9 and 10, ball side goes forward, and far side goes back. Okay, that's a quick, easy way to remember how we run the 9-10-6-8. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, very good. I think we covered that. This is just a review. Okay, so I'm not gonna read this because you guys can read this on your own. I'm not reading this to you like little kids because I want you guys to go back and study it. I'm just covering the parts that they're basically saying, but I'm saying it in my own words for you. Okay, so they're now going to move. We're now talking about this is their back line. Okay, I'm going to go over the back line because now we will have covered all 3 lines. And then we're going to start talking about the interactions between all the lines. That's what they promised in the book, that they would do each line separately. So now we're at the back line. So let's go over this. So at least going into next week, you have an idea of how the back line operates. So let's wrap our heads. Take a moment to wrap your heads around this. This is a winger, opposing striker, opposing winger. Typical setup, right? Although they're usually not this wide in amateur soccer. But guess what? Theoretical question here. Do you think if we run this Atletico very good, that their outside mids / wingers will start to get very wide? Yes or no? What do you think? What do you think will happen? Because we're giving up that pass. We're allowing a pass down the sideline. So what do you think will eventually start happening?
Just try going down the middle.
No. So, well, no. I don't mean to cut short. No, but like, I want you to look at this real quick. So check this out. So let's move him here.
Jacob says they'll get wide.
They'll get wide. Who said that?
Jacob.
Okay. Yeah, Jacob. So who's Jacob?
I don't know.
We'll find out later. Put your full name, Jacob. Yo, all guys, put your names in the chat. Your full names. If it's not, just everybody put your full name. I'll check the chat later for roll real quick. If you can. But I usually just check. I usually check the thing at the end. But once in a while, someone has like fucking a number phone. And I don't know who it is. So your names show up if your name's on there. It's fine. Like Marcelo, I know he's here. Nas, Eduardo. Okay, real quick. So look, we're giving up this pass, right? We're giving up this pass. We're giving up what other pass? So if he stands here, how long do you think normally these teams play kind of in, right? So how long before someone yells at him that he has to do what? I mean, if he stays here, we're going to destroy teams. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Like, where's he going to go, right? So he's eventually going to pop out, okay? I can guarantee you that if we do it right. So, and then we're going to, so he's going to play here, okay? That's what's going to happen. So that's why it's okay. They're showing you what that's going to look like here. They're pretty wide, right? For an amateur team. All right. Now, first thing you should notice here is look at the gap. The midfield was close together, right? But are these guys close together right now? We touched on this earlier. They're not, right? We touched on this earlier that when this guy has the ball, right, these guys should get compact, right, to prevent any ball in. But a Nice can actually do this. This is what you're looking at. Okay. This is actually what you're looking at here. This allows Nas 11 to do what? See this? These guys are compact. But look at this weird shape that the defense is in.
The wide, like, right?
Yeah, the fullbacks, I got news for you. The fullbacks are running leads, right? What does that remind you of? Like, my fullback instructions are going to be basically the same goddamn thing as leads. So if you play fullback for us in the fall, congratulations. It's basically the same goddamn thing with a few tweaks where you don't have to follow the guy everywhere. You don't have to follow him everywhere. And repeat that. So it's not exactly like leads, but a lot of the pieces, it's very man-to-man oriented. Okay. And generally in any tactical system, the back line has to man up as you know what I mean? Because you can't just leave a guy wide open, right? And doesn't this look like, what does this look like? 2B. It's free man, right? We're covering with 2 men, right? We have a +1 where? Now, here's the thing. We don't always have to have a +1 in the back like we do with, well, we do. Let me rephrase that, but it's going to be a little different. I'll show you. We'll get to that. So, but this is very important that the fullbacks are out, okay? See it? Fullbacks are out, all right? Midfielders are closer together. We don't want Nas out here. And we already know why, right? So we don't want both of these out here because we already know that it opens a gap, right? Okay, we don't need this either. We don't need an overcommit, okay? And by the way, the USLPA teams, this is how they defend. The same way they did in youth soccer, because they're all high-level youth soccer players that made it up there. This is how they defend. The whole fucking team moves to one side of the field. And if you don't know how to switch the ball, are you ever getting the ball through this? I've had my guys when we play Westchester and those teams, I'm like, watch the other team. Look at them. I'm like, they're all entirely on the other side of the field. The whole fucking team. Sometimes when they're on offense, they do that too. Okay? So we're not going to play that way. We might lose to them for now, but we're going long term. We're not going to play that way. So Nice is going to be out. So let's look at this again. Let's see what they're saying here. So what they're telling you here is because Atletico has to face players like Ronaldo and Robin and Salah, right? Not Robin's retired. Neymar, right? They don't want to give these guys too much space, right? They want to be able to contain them, all right? They don't want to let them to get a running start. So I need you guys to understand this. We said we're going to try to not even let these guys turn. Number one priority is we're not going to let these guys turn, okay? We said we're giving up the free pass to them, but not letting – doesn't mean we let them turn. We let the fullbacks turn. These are the wingers. Are we trying to stop the wingers from turning, yes or no?
Stopping the wingers from turning? Technically.
Is our tactical system with Atletico trying to stop the wingers from turning as a priority? It is. If you didn't know, it is. All right. We can't let everybody turn. We're letting their back line turn and their goalie turn. We're letting 5 of their players turn. We try to not let any of their other players turn. We need to understand that. Okay. That needs to be like a commandment for our defense. We allow the back 4 to turn. If they go to a back 3, same deal basically. Okay. We allow them to turn. Back 5, it would be technically a back 5 when you do that. We allow them to turn, but we do not allow the other players turn as a matter of course. We try to prevent that. If you can't let them turn, if you can't stop them from turning, the next best thing is to apply pressure right away, but don't get so close that they can burn you. Okay? Why is it good to get close, but not too close? To get that Goldilocks distance. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not going to quiz you on this one. I'm going to just flat out tell you. Getting too far, getting too close lets them burn you, right? Allows them to, even if they're slower than you, they can make a move and go past you. But if they're faster than you, you're fucked. They just push the ball to the side and run around you. So getting too close is a problem if they're already turned. Being too far away is also a problem. It's not a problem with their fullbacks, but it's a problem with their wingers because they're closer to our goal. So it's a problem with the wingers because you're allowing them to dribble forward and get a head of steam up. Who's more difficult to cover? A player dribbling forward at you or a player stationary facing you? They're both facing you, but one's moving at you and the other one's not moving at you. What's harder to cover? Anybody notice?
Would it be running at you? Person.
Yeah. It's
way
harder to stop a guy running at you. Way harder.
Course.
Because you have to run, you have to stay facing him, so you have to run backwards, first off, right? Unless you want to turn around and run with him, and now you're just giving up ground, right? It is way harder. You'll see it practice, but like just think back to your soccer days, like when you played, right? What's harder, like covering a guy running at you? Covering a guy running at you, you got to start to back up. Covering a guy stationary, you just stand there and jockey him. You understand? So number one priority, don't let him turn. Number two priority, get close enough, not too close. Too close, he can go around you. Okay? Close enough where he can't run past you or deke you, but also close enough, not too far away, where he could get a running start and make it and then have an advantage over you. Now, you players that are on offense, take that to heart. You know now, right, that it's better to – one of the reasons why I tell you guys – you ever hear – who's heard me say, raise your hand, why be a little open when you could be a lot open? Who's heard me say that?
Yeah.
You've heard me say that, right? Okay. So is it number 11 on white a little open or a lot open? Could he be more open?
Yes.
Exactly. This is why I say this to you guys. If 11 dropped in a little bit more, he could possibly, and 3 doesn't follow him, he could possibly receive, get turned, and start dribbling at him. And that gives him an advantage we just talked about. If he can dribble at him. Unless 3 steps up, which we learned from Leeds, right, to do that little man-to-man. And in this case, we will step up on him. But if you drop in and he doesn't step up on you, now you're a lot open, get it, turn, start dribbling. I tell you guys to play from the spot, but that doesn't mean you always play from the spot. Take it on, start dribbling. Take the guy on. You're a winger, man. Take him on. All right? Makes sense? Does that everybody follow that so far? That's not too complicated. It's basic soccer, but I need us to understand this. These are the things. If we do the basics correctly, our whole team and you get better. Okay, the fundamentals. All right? Makes sense? Any questions about that part? We're gonna keep going into the back line. It's not all we're gonna cover, but we're almost out of time. So I want to ask, is there any questions before I shut the timer off? So we only got like a minute and a half left. I'll open the floor to questions, and then I'll shut the thing off. Is there any questions or comments that you want to leave for the people watching this video later?
Nope.
That like thoughts that you have on this. So everybody basically understands this. We're good. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right. So a reminder to everybody. I put these. I'll add these again. Crap. I try to put these in every practice on the calendar in the notes section. Right. There's like a little notes section. You guys have seen that, right? Where I put like little notes. If you haven't, check it out in the calendar. I'm gonna put a link to our link tree. A link tree is what you can use. A lot of people on Instagram use it. And you can have a bunch of links, all right? Because Instagram doesn't let you put like links or some shit on your pages. So and actually GroupMe is really difficult with that too. So I'm putting it inside every practice. There's gonna be a link to our link tree. It has the tactical playlist. It has the attendance list. It has this slideshow. You'll see it's like Atletico Madrid, like slideshow, it's called. It looks like this. It's got every friggin' slide. It takes you to here. I'm going to continue to put more. There won't be many more, but there'll be, this should be studied, guys. This should be studied. I gave the hard copy book to Gian. If anybody else ever wants to borrow the hard copy book of this, I can let you borrow it. But all the important information from that is on here. The rest of the book is filled with extra like sessions, practice sessions to do for the team, which you don't need to. I left that out of this. You don't need to see that. But if you ever want to see those, I can lend you the book. You can see those too. But these are the parts that you need to understand to run this defense. Okay. So, all right. So those watching this later, even if you're someone who can't make all the practices, study these. Study these. Think about them. Watch professional games and say, oh, they're doing that tactic. Oh, yeah. Okay. I learned that on the slide from Atletico thing. Start to study the game, and then you can actually implement these things. Okay. So makes sense. All right. I'm gonna shut this off. Great job, everybody.